Hi everyone, and thank you for Shoria for organizing this event and also for inviting me. And happy Earth Day, everyone. Today I will just give you a brief introduction to smart mobility and how smart mobility can play a role to achieve a sustainable smart city. And sustainability for me is the idea of meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the needs like of the future generation. And I think smart mobility will play a role here and is one of the main pillars of the concept of smart cities. So this just what I'm sharing here is I'm not talking about what I'm doing at GM, but is just a part of a book I published last June about smart mobility that gives easy to digest introduction to the existing and emerging technologies related to smart mobility. So let's start with discussing a problem, we call it world urbanization. And as you know, there is actually like a growing population shift from rural areas to urban areas. According to this latest statistics provided by UN, by 2025, 2/3 of the world will be urban and 1/3 will be rural. And actually, this kind of pattern is the opposite of what we experienced in mid-20s, where we had 2/3 of population rural and 1/3 urban. And actually, this growing world urbanization cause major mobility challenges and also has very severe negative impacts when it comes to safety and congestion and emissions as well. And another statistics also that to reflect this growing urbanization is the number of mega city. And when we talk about mega city, is the cities that has more than 10 million inhabitants. And in 2016, we had only 31 mega cities, and now we have, like by 2030, we're expecting to have 41 mega cities. And this is also one of the indicators to reflect this population shift from rural areas to urban areas. And this kind of shift actually caused several problems. I can just highlight here like the major three negative implications of urban world urbanization. The first one is related to safety. As you know, there is an increasing number of traffic accidents, and World Health Organization mentioned in one of the latest statistics that there is one person dies in traffic accident every 23 seconds. And this number is expected to reach 2.2 million people die in traffic accident by 2030. Another major problem actually when it comes to urbanization related to mobility is the congestion, and everybody actually we are suffering from time to time from traffic jam. And in Canada, for example, Canadians spend in average 27 hours a year stuck in traffic. And actually this picture is from Parkway 404. And if you lose time in traffic, actually this is a time lost without spending with a loved one, or also time lost on productivity, and also even time lost not relaxing. And there is an estimate indicates that the global economy may lose $1 trillion worth of productivity due to this traffic jam. Another third major implication of urbanization when it comes to mobility challenges is environmental impacts. And environmental impacts here mainly is greenhouse gas emission. And as you know, like conventional transport is one of the major contributor to this greenhouse gas emission. And also another problem is related to the footprint or the space required per occupant. And I think there is some also numbers indicate that there is like more than like 20% of major urban areas is used just for parking. And this is not good use of the resources of the cities, and also the greenhouse emission or the CO2 emission also is very problematic issue. That's why we are trying to shift to electrification as an enabler to achieve carbon neutrality. So This actually arise the need to move toward smart cities or sustainable smart cities, and one of the main pillars of smart city is smart mobility. As you see, as you can see here, is in this graphics, is there are six main pillars: smart mobility, smart living, and smart society, smart environment, smart economy, and smart governance. And one like digitalization here, I'm showing digitalization, automation, connectivity, and analytics as the main enablers across these six pillars. Because if we have everything digitalized, and also if we automate number of tasks, and also if we achieve connectivity, and if we make use of the data in order to understand, this will allow actually us to monitor, continuously monitoring the assets we have in the city, and also will have the ability to control, and also will have the ability to optimize. Because for me, for example, the concept smart is mainly the ability to monitor, ability to control, and the ability to optimize. And smart mobility is in the core of a smart city, is one of the major enabler for it. We participated in a very like comprehensive study actually, across the world. GM was part of it, and in this study we surveyed 2,000 citizens from different cities, and we classify the cities into three main categories regarding to how smart the city is, or how close to be smart. So we have leaders. Copenhagen actually is one of the leading city when it comes to being a smart city. Chicago and Tokyo and Shanghai. So those considered as leading cities or leading smart city. And also we surveyed number of other cities. We call them transitioning. This actually was mega study conducted by ESI, SOT Lab, and GM and other companies was part of it. Transitioning city here can include Dubai and New Delhi and Madrid and Moscow. And the third category was the beginners. Like, so they are still in very early stage, moving on, having a strategy to be a smart city. Example for this, Athens and Lagos. So in this study, 2,000 citizens have been surveyed, and this citizen varies from individuals with different ages and economic level, and also 750 organization was part of this study from these different cities. The main takeaways from this study actually related to mobility is that they discover that mobility is the second largest sector that will bring a value when it comes to return on investment from the point of view of the citizen and also the organization. Is just after environment and even before public health. This just reflect how important is mobility and smart mobility as one of the main pillars of smart cities. So, but actually, there is no universal definition for the concept of smart mobility. And I think if you ask three people in a room, you may get five different answers. I define smart mobility as a promotion of sustainable mobility that guarantees access or seamless access to different mobility modes. So the core of smart mobility is a multimodal kind of transportation, and also the integration between these two different modes of transportation in order to enable seamless access. And also this will enable moving people and the cargo from one place to another place in a way that is safe. Safety is the first thing that we have to care about, and also clean and most efficient. Most efficient here, or the efficiency has different dimensions, can be the fastest way, most convenient way, comfort wise, or most productive way, and also most affordable way. So there are different kind of dimensions in order to evaluate the efficiency. And the best, the idea here is to try to achieve a trade-off between the personal interest of the traveler and also the common good for the city. At GM, actually, we have very interesting vision. We call it the 000 vision. And our vision for the future is to have a future with zero crashes and zero emissions and zero congestion. That's why the company is investing heavily in electric vehicles and also self-driving cars. We invested $27 billion. We are investing $27 until 2025, and there is a plan actually to have 30 different electric vehicle model, ranging from small vehicles to large vehicle like GMC Hummer AV and Cadillac Lyric. And also GM is working heavily in electrifying the delivery trucks through a spin-off company we have called the Bright Drop. We already creating the EV600. This is the platform for e-delivery, and we're working with FedEx and other delivery service providers as a way to have a green delivery fleet. And also there is other deployment for the e-pallet for last mile delivery. And also next year, we are planning to deploy self-driving shuttles created by the self-driving arm of GM, Cruise Automation, in Dubai. They are already circulating in California, and next year they're gonna be also in the city of Dubai. So, but in order to be able actually to secure widespread of such kind of technologies and also guarantee societal acceptance, I think is not going to be a matter only on technology, but I think this will be related to a triad of three complementary factors. Technology is one of them, but also governance and city planning. So I think we have to pay attention to all of this. You may have very high advanced technology, but maybe we don't have a well-developed legal framework that will allow us to successfully deploy this in public roads, or we may don't have the city planned or replanned to accommodate such kind of technologies. I like this video actually created by Volkswagen. It was a funny video just to show how the people would be reacting to self-driving cars in the city. But for me, actually, I see this video as an interesting video because it will, like, it represents that it's not about technology only, but also we have to understand how these vehicles will be interacting with other non-autonomous vehicles in a mixed traffic mode, and also how they will be interacting with the people, and also how we can accommodate the cities in order, or how we can plan or make the city ready to accommodate such kind of technologies, and also what would be the legal framework if something happened. So just as a very short video to show, but how the people would be reacting to self-driving cars if they saw some of them in our urban environment.
Introducing the all-new self-driving car. It does the driving for you, so you can catch up on the more important things in life. It automatically takes the right turns. Effortlessly avoids unexpected obstacles. And recognizes red lights far in advance, ensuring you a perfectly safe journey every time.
De zelfrijdende auto. Technologie is er klaar voor.
Yeah, so this is what I meant by smart mobility triad, is as complementary factors of technology and governance and city planning. Just to give you an idea about the governance framework of self-driving, for example, as one of the most important technology within the paradigm for smart mobility, there are actually several initiatives. Here in Canada, we started an initiative to put together guidelines. Actually, this effort is led by Canada Standard Association Group, and we are participating on this initiative in order to like put together guidelines for the safe deployment of connected and automated vehicles. There are several other initiatives in different countries, like Self-Drive Act in US, and also UK Code of Practice for Automated Vehicles. And even if we look at other type of vehicles, like EV tolls, for example, or air taxis, also there are studying how we can maybe adopt or create some sort of standards and legal framework for such kind of emerging technologies when it comes to EV toll and other technologies related to autonomous ships, for example. And when it comes to city planning, as I mentioned, there is a need to consider how we can plan or replan the city to accommodate these emerging technologies. And this actually planning or replanning is not a matter of adding new roads, because adding new roads actually wouldn't solve the problem. I think it's more about how we can integrate different mobility modes and how we can empower the city to accommodate emerging technologies. There is very nice a campaign actually was led by TTC, and they mentioned that if we want to replace the metro, actually subway, by highway, so we'll need 20 lanes wide in order to carry in automobiles the same number of passengers being served by Toronto subway. But at the same time, maybe also automobiles would be very convenient for the people in terms of privacy, in terms of during the pandemic, people prefer the private cars as a way to stop the spread of the virus, and also avoid any kind of people to service transmission or service to service transmission, even if you are doing shared mobility. So there is like nothing is perfect, and the idea here is to try to integrate different mobility modes and provide such kind of seamless experience to the traveler. And also city, for example, if we want to empower the city with more, when it comes to micromobility, we need to think about something like bicycle freeway or sub highways. In terms of EVs, we need to think about some things like cordless curbside cab charging. In Detroit, actually, last month they announced a new project. Is 1 mile road. They call it electric roads that allows electric vehicle to be charged while they are driving in the road. So the road itself will be a kind of charging pad for them. And also in the era, like when we reach to the full deployment of level 4 or level 5 autonomy, if something wrong happened to such kind of vehicle, we need to think about how we can create some sort of emergency area where we can this vehicle can be pulled over, and also we can maintain or teleoperate these vehicles. And also smart parking also need to be considered, and how we can design smart parking if we have mixed automated and non-automated vehicles. In UK, they started also to establish the new urban, or the first actually of its kind urban airport in a city of Coventry in UK, just as a take-off points and landing port for the eVTOL. eVTOL stands for electric vertical takeoff and landing. So the third dimension, as I mentioned, is technology. And technology here, I can spend too long time to talk about technology because I'm a technologist mainly. And I like this quote from the British science fiction writer and inventor, Sir Arthur Clarke. He used to say, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And actually, this is true when it comes to smart mobility technology, because if you look at self-driving technology, for example, you can see it as a magic that will dramatically reduce the injuries and the fatalities, given the fact that more than 93% of the traffic accident is caused by human error. So if we take a human out from the loop from driving, I think this will dramatically reduce the number of traffic accidents. And also such kind of technology or this magic will enable people with special need and also early to move and also to give them the ability to access to mobility platform. And also even it will open a whole new business. We call it passenger economy, because here we don't have driver and the vehicle will drive itself. And so all the occupants will be passenger, and this vehicle can be retrofitted and can be used for different purposes aside from being a mobility platform. It can be a mobile clinic, it can be a mobile beauty salon, it can be a mobile motel. So there are different areas. It can be a store, mobile store. so the store can come to you instead of you go to the store. So there are different opportunities actually for self-driving cars aside from its impact on reducing the crashes. And also, if you look at the urban air mobility or the 3D mobility using the technology like eVTOL, also it's a magic because it will allow us to move from restricted mobility in two-dimensional street if we are driving cars, or maybe even one-dimensional street if you are taking street cars or train. So we will be moving in degrees of freedom kind of mobility, because we'll be having 3 degrees of freedom of mobility, lateral and longitudinal and vertical. And even if you consider the orientation of the platform, we can talk about 6 degrees of freedom. So more degrees of freedom for this mobility platform. And also technology like Hyperloop, considering as a fifth mode of transportation, also is going to be a zero emission kind of technology that will allow us to have the convenience of the train and also the speed of the airplane. And you can move from Montreal to Toronto or vice versa in only 1 hour instead of 5 hours in high-speed rail system. Electrification also is going to be the magic that will enable us to achieve the zero emission or the carbon neutrality in the near future. This technology actually can be classified into 3 levels: foundational technology and technology enablers and disruptors. I just very quickly give you an example for this foundational technology of smart mobility. This actually is the building blocks, and we upon these building blocks we can create different technology enablers, and we can create different kind of businesses. One of them is the position and navigation and timing systems, GIS, Global Geographic Information System, wireless communication, mobile computing, blockchain technology. There are different applications area of smart mobility when it comes to blockchain and the Internet of Things. Artificial intelligence is applied along the life cycle of different mobility platforms like cars, from design to operation to design, manufacturing, operation, feedback, even recycling. We are using AI even for recycling, and also robotics and electrification. And upon these building blocks, we can create technology enablers, like, for example, intelligent infrastructure, like smart intersection, for example, in order to guarantee the safety of the pedestrian or the vulnerable road user in general, pedestrian or cyclist. And also connected mobility will allow us to create like data-rich kind of environment to guarantee the safety of the vehicles, and also even to continuously monitor the condition of the infrastructure. Automated mobility with different levels we have now, starting from level 1, which is the driver assistant, passing by partial automation to conditional automation, or high automation, or full automation, which is level 5, where the car can be seen as a robo taxi, and now nobody will be there as a driver. All the occupants will be just a passenger, and this will enable different kind of business opportunities and also reduce traffic accidents. And the e-mobility is another technology enablers we are working on, and micro-mobility like e-scooters and e-bike. And even if you look at active and software, soft or zero impact mobility, you may think that this is just active means walking, but also there are different technology enablers that encourage the people to walk, like fitness app, for example, fitness planners, and all of this kind of software-oriented technology. And also, last but not least, is the inclusive mobility, how we can accommodate the mobility in order to mitigate any mobility barriers for people with special need and elderly. Last but not least, here is the technology enablers, and I give here just one examples of technology. Maybe just I can move fast, but anyway. Just to give example for automated mobility, automated mobility, for example, where we have to achieve different level of self-driving cars, and actually we can guarantee faster deployment if we reduce the complexity of the environment. Because you may be asking why we are still struggling and having full self-driving vehicles while we have autopilot, for example, 100 years ago. Yeah, actually, the main reason is the environment. The environment of the cars, especially in urban environments, is much more challenging compared to an environment of an airplane. That's why reducing the environment can guarantee faster deployment of such kind of technology. For example, nowadays we can see self-driving vehicles in the warehouse management system, and also it's very normal now you can see autonomous tractors for seeding and blowing and spraying in agriculture to achieve the concept of precision agriculture, and also in mining industry, and even for cargo when it comes to autonomous cargo ships. But in terms of like actual deployment in real like urban environment, still is going to be a challenging. There is several pilot projects, and even here in Oshawa and in Whitby, actually we had a pilot project, and there are several other companies actually are not GM. Actually, it was another company called the Local Motors, and they stopped the project because there was an accident, and there was a plan to have another pilot in Toronto, but they stopped this project. So because still the technology is still evolving, and due to the complexity associated with the work environment itself. Going back to the disruptor here, I just want to mention quickly that there are different kind of form of disruptors in this area, like mobility on demand, mobility as a service, shared mobility. We are always in using Uber and Lyft and all of this kind of shared mobility services, and also last mile delivery that make the last mile delivery for food or other things very fast and very flexible and very transparent, and also the concept of gig economy and passenger economy I mentioned before. My last take-home message actually is I see the future of mobility as people-centric. So we'll have the people needs in the center of everything, and also everything will be more or less software-defined, because most of the services actually is kind of software services. So the future mobility will be software-defined and also connected and electric. Thank you, and happy Earth Day again.